Hello, in this video I'm going to discuss our plans for the new CashScript release, CashScript version 1.0. So we did a successful Flipstarter crowdfunder, which got funded very recently and which we can celebrate with a small animation. So first of all, thank you to the 25 contributors who helped us raise the funds to do this development work. Especially General Protocols, Mike Komaransky and Maya Malu for their big contributions. So let's delve into the new features we are going to add with version 1.0 and why they were missing before. So the two big features, as you can see from the title, are reusable libraries and smart contract interactions. So it's also all explained in the post, which I will link in the description if you want to read along. So first, a brief introduction. Here, the Cash Tokens upgrade has generated a lot of interest and enabled a lot of novel applications such as TapSwap, Emerald DAO, Bitcat Heroes, and the Fix Cash DEX. This upgrade has served as a great baseline, but looking at the new apps that have been built, we can see CashScript is still missing two key features to enable complex decentralized applications: reusable libraries and smart contract interactions. So these are the two features that we will be adding. Here the two features are discussed in more length, so the first feature and the second feature. I'm going to start off talking about the second feature. So if you take a look at how the JavaScript, the CashScript SDK currently works, so I have the website open. So if you go to CashScript SDK example, you will see here an example contract and then how to call this contract with the SDK. You will see that the way to do this is you do contract.functions and then you call a function on the contract, for example, the transfer function. This contract has two functions, transfer and timeout. So it calls the transfer function with the necessary arguments. So in this case, the signature template, as you can see here. So the limitation of this approach is that it assumes that each transaction is calling a function on one smart contract. But as we have seen with the Cash Tokens upgrade, sometimes transactions are a combination of multiple smart contracts, which means in the inputs there's not just a function call on one contract, but a more complex, you need a more complex transaction builder. So for example here, you don't need to do UTXO selection per se, so you just say to this address and this amount, and .send, and you don't need to think where do these UTXOs come from and which specific UTXOs did this select, so it's all abstracted away. So this will still exist, but we are planning to add a more complex transaction builder. So let's get back to the Flipstarter document, and if you scroll down, here's an example. So to enable smart contract interactions, we will keep support for the simplified current iteration, but also add a new transaction builder API for more advanced smart contract interactions that combine UTXOs from multiple smart contracts. So this is an example of what it could look like. Something like a new transaction and then add input. You need to select the UTXO yourself. And this UTXO can either be from a contract, so for example this, contract1.function with certain arguments, and then UTXO can be from contract2 with certain arguments, or it can be from a public key hash. So just this way, you need to be more specific, but you can also do more complex stuff. So this is needed for example, the Fix.cash team, their AMM, they needed to build custom tooling, which is of course not general. So with this, they can use the CashScript tooling and the new transaction builder API to actually make their smart contract transactions. So very cool to see multiple projects doing smart contract work like Fix.cash and BCH crew contributing to this Flipstarter, of course, as well as General Protocols, which also does a lot of smart contract work on BCH. So this is the second item, the transaction builder for to enable smart contract interactions. And then now let's talk about reusable libraries. So here it says, this feature, reusable libraries, exists in almost every programming language and is invaluable for developers to write reusable, safe, and maintainable code. we noticed that many of the new applications are implementing similar patterns, and if every developer has to re-implement this pattern into their own contracts from scratch, the chances of bugs are much higher than with reusable and shareable libraries. So this feature will enable developers to write complex applications with fewer bugs and less time on re-implementing the same patterns over and over again. As an extension feature, we also want to publish a standard library that can be imported and used by CashScript contracts. So the way we noticed that there was a real need for library imports is also with a fix.cash application. If you go to the GitHub and go to the covenants and AMM, then you will see this is the contract. So it consists, I think, of 7 different contract pieces. So all the .cash files are CashScript contract code, but they also have a version include. So this emulates library support. So this is not valid CashScript files, but as you can see, they abstracted away some library called muldiv, and this muldiv defines a few functions. So these functions are then reused. So it's called, for example, basic check, and this basic check can then be used. Or for example, it uses seal div, which then does these mathematical operations in order. So it's a nice way to abstract away with a simple function call a lot of complex things happening under the hood. So this was for us a great example of the need of reusable libraries, because looking at these long-form mathematics inside of the contract complicates the reviewing the contract a lot, whereas if you see floor div or seal mul, it abstracts a lot of this complexity away. So you only need to validate it once, and then you can use this simple function call with a more clear name. So this is that's also why it's very cool to see fix.cash being excited for these upgrades. And together they will now allow will allow it to be much more easy to develop AMM DEXs, so Uniswap style decentralized exchanges on Bitcoin Cash with CashScript. So we're really looking forward to that. And we hope to see even more applications soon. So building further on the work of TapSwap, Emerald DAO, BitCat Zeros, and Fix.cash. And we hope CashScript can be the standard tooling for the future. So thank you for watching this video. We hope you're as excited for CashScript version 1.0 as we are, and we are looking forward to see what builders do with this new tooling. Thank you for checking out the video, and see you in the next one. Bye.